team, for WE, they don't really play for the laning phase, like past the laning phase. They're saying, okay, we can sacrifice. We have a lot of experience of just going for late, trusting in our AD carry, recognizing that we do have a lot of experience and we can use some of that veterancy to shot call into the later stages of the game. Whereas NIP, yes, they do have the early action from Shadow, and Angel does have a bit of a unique champion pool compared to the rest of the mid laners. It has been willing to pick up more and more different things. But it's Photic and Juo who have had huge games for this roster.
Huge games. They're already seeing kind of like some of those big picks being taken out. Look, the Nico, the Vi, the Annie kind of doing. But the big thing is the Milio has not been banned yet, nor has the Yuumi. So wait to see. I will say the Zeri has been taken away. Some teams have been saying, look, the Yuumi's the OP part. Some people have been saying the Zeri's the OP part. And others are saying, look, it has to be the combo of the two. You kind of wait and see. But it's going to be the Ophelio. So the Milio left open here for Zhuo if he wants to go for it. And it just feels like you have to pick this up. You have to go for something this strong.
And taking away the Aphelios, not only from Photic, which has been his most played champion so far this split, when you look at Hope, are they looking to try to just immediately pick up the Jinx for NIP? The same could be said there. Wondering if Team WE coming into the week are going to say, maybe we try to do something different, but instead flexing immediately back over to the Lucian. So Lucian Nami, Milio should be taken over by WE, or they could go for our kind of super popular Xayah Rakan, which has really popped off here in the LPL.
Absolutely. I will say that, the Lucian's coming, so one of the next picks for NIP will have to be that Nami. So get yourself a strong mid-jungle. Ari Wukong here would not go amiss. Also, the Cassante, still 100% presence in the LPL. Picked or banned every single game, and we're at about 130 already.
That's way too many.
That's a lot of games. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, I feel bad for our top laners, man. Like, Cassante is fun. There's no way that champion is that fun. I know that some of them have been a lot of bans towards this champion, but it was funny. I was talking about this with some friends about like how the top lane meta has evolved, how Renekton has really kind of fallen to the wayside. Did get some buffs this patch, and we've been seeing his presence rise a little bit, but it's like, oh, why would I play Renekton when I can play a tankier version that also has really decent kill threats, similar to the Renekton, and also doesn't have very many bad matchups right now in the top lane?
No, absolutely. And the Cassante, well, actually, I'll give you a quick. Do you think it's been picked more or banned more? There you go. It's close. It's very close. It's 68 to 66. You think it's banned more? No, it's been picked more. 68 picks,
okay.
66 bans. So
close enough.
I mean, close enough. It shows you the kind of power that this pick has. But for the moment, NIP kind of getting themselves a Lucian Nami. You knew that was going to be coming in. You cannot let that Nami just kind of go away, especially considering you picked the Lucian to give up the Milio. And now NIP get themselves the Poppy as well. So WE, I would personally love to see them go for the Cassante right here now, because then you get to throw in bans to that top side, or even potentially go for your Wukong. But no, they're going to go for the Jinx instead. So locking themselves into that bot lane matchup, getting themselves within their very comfortable way, and had a little bit of a range advantage.
You know what's also something we haven't really touched on that people, if you're watching from an international perspective, are probably waiting on? The all-important, the all-encompassing kind of meta-warping static Shiv. We've been on 13-11 for a little bit now, and coming into week 4, it has really hit a fever pitch online. I wonder if we'll start to see that from some players. I know that Ari, LeBlanc are very popular, but it seems like NIP probably not going to be going in that direction. I do want to touch on the team compositions as we get through the second phase of the bans. NIP have a very easy way of stacking dragons thanks to this bottom lane, with Poppy being able to get right down there. And you see that the Jinx going into the later game, 3 items. We can see Hope start to scale. And we talked about it before. It takes a single Jinx kill and a whole game can turn on its head.
That's the best way to put it, is that the Jinx just gets you reset, especially with even an extended range that already kind of comes out from the Milio and your Rockets. So really like to see that one coming in, and a massive amount of mid lane there. The LeBlanc taken away. And this is the thing, if you've been watching the LEC, you'll know how disgusting this champion is. You rush the static Shiv with it, it just becomes impossible. But thankfully for us, we do not have to talk about it, because it is taken off the board. We will not see it, at least in this game.
You know, if they really wanted to try for it, another person that can build it that is like semi-viable, depending on what WE goes here, is a pretty big Zoe. I'm gonna wait because I know the hovers are fake, I don't know. I know that we have 1311 coming. We have 1311 still. I don't know if Rel and Ivern are still disabled. I'm going to assume that they are because they already were before. Yes. Okay, cool. Those items are very broken on live as well. If you want to go and get yourself some free LP, those champions are just not okay.
They've got a couple of different issues with them, but we've gotten all the way down into the second round of picks. WE saying, well, you didn't ban the Cassante, you banned the Gwen instead, so we're going to take that one up for Cube. Cube, as you mentioned earlier, very much happy to kind of let the game go late, just be an initiator, and the Cassante lets him be just that. Even with Invincible going towards the Gnar, this top side, unless we see a Cube or Invincible get some kind of jungle intervention, not really expecting to see much kind of happen there, but ooh, Angel coming out with a little bit of a fan favorite for him, gonna lock in that Twisted Fate.
All right, it's been now 2 weeks in a row. He's been picking up the Twisted Fate. We talked about this a little bit, about his champion pool being fairly unique as being able to play towards topside. This is something that you can do when you have this Twisted Fate. Typically, you want to try to play for your solo lanes, but when we've been talking about how the mid lane changes, the minions now arriving in mid lane at the same time as the side lanes, it makes it very hard for you to go for a dive. One of the ways you can cheat that is Destiny right out of that mid lane, go straight bot and try to find kills for this bottom lane. And Hung is actually going to be playing this Nautilus jungle, which we've seen very fringe picks of it here. And I think it's pretty cool because it provides a lot of engage for WE.
That's what I love seeing as well. The Nautilus is still one of those things that it's kind of become a flex right now between the jungle and the support because it can give you, as you mentioned, so much engage possibilities. And the fact that you have got that point-and-click CC to jump onto a Lucian, so he either has to completely disengage or deal with the incoming kind of tanks jumping on his face, make it such a difficult combination. And also, as well as that, it's a very powerful combination with the Ahri. That double CC lockdown, level 3 and onwards, is so good to try and catch someone out.
Early on, if they are able to find picks, it should be around the top side of the map. Twisted Fate and Gnar are not very resilient early on into the game. And once we get into the later portions, even as soon as level 6, those two will be a roaming kill squad for WE. And when we're talking about trying to find resets, the best way you can do that is just have your Ahri and Nautilus send them straight into the backline and take over. So Team WE, again, we're looking for them to go late. They have a lot of great scaling. They have amazing ability to start fights on their terms, but it is up to NIP, who are the early game aggressors and someone who can play to the side lane.
No more theories, no more hypothesis. We are jumping straight onto the riff for this first game of Week 4. We are sprinting towards our halfway mark, and Ninjas and Pyjamas are already there, 5-3 in the standings. WE lacking a little bit behind, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And we'll be seeing how both these teams go. WE yet to drop a game, not even a series, a game here in the LPL Summer Split. Now back off of the road to Asian Games, they are here to try and continue that momentum, continue themselves into a winning ways here in the LPL Summer.
I love this. I got this in some of my other games that I was commentating over today, and both of the top laners level 1, they just walked up right next to each other, throwing up emotes. They did not care. They knew the top lane was going to be a bit of an island.
They respected
it. NIP though, talking a little bit about this top laner, Invincible, someone coming into the league, we had some different expectations for what was going to happen, especially with how the meta has been shaping up the past couple months. And he has some of the most solo kills in the league as a top laner. Excited to see what he can do on Gnar here, where he can chase out this Cassante. And we have been seeing a lot of the hole breakers start to come out for this champion.
I've been seeing it quite a bit. We'll see. It's kind of becoming the kind of standard right now. The Gnar, yes, can still have a huge teamfight presence, of course, with that Mega Gnar, but just the presence he gives in that side lane, because with the Hull Breaker, it feels like nobody can really kind of contest him in that regard. So curious to see if we will still see that kind of setup. It does mean that he will be able to have a little bit more of a better time, I suppose, against the Cassante later on into the game. But we're going to just kind of have ourselves a little bit of farming right now. I will expect to see Photic look to try and level 2 this and try it all in. But in traditional sense, I also expect Hope and Iwandi just to back themselves away.
And I love this out from Shadow. He just starts the entire bottom side camps as Hope and Iwandi take a little bit of a trade, but an even one for them, and actually winning thanks to the healing on Melio. But this splits open the map. This makes it very easy for NIP to actually play towards their bottom side, where Hung is now sitting there as the Nautilus. And here we go, this is what I was talking about, using the flash.
Yeah, flash over the wall. Hope, though, perfectly timed flash gets himself back into safety. But this is what we talked about for the Poppy. Level 3, you're good to go, and that's exactly what Shadow does.
Shadow should know that Hung could be here. He's going to cross. No flash.
Yeah, no flash and not a lot of health either. It does get the shield and the phase rush. Would love to see if he can get away from this one here. Hong not quite got the cooldowns just yet. You can see still a ways away from getting himself back onto that queue. So he just backs himself away. Going to accept a trade of camps at the end of it all.
Going to be able to take this red buff. I wonder if how much more of this Photic. I was really scared that there was going to potentially be a solo kill there, but yeah, like you were saying, taking away most of these camps. Shadow's going to contest this. I think making better use of this, instead moving towards the top side, trying to get some more of these camps, try to split open this top side. And early on, we've gotten very close to our first blood, but no cigar.
Yeah, like I said, if you don't get something in the first kind of setup before everyone gets at least one reset off, it just becomes nigh impossible to kind of make that one work. And I will say now that the big thing I'm looking at for the moment is going to be kind of the way Hong is kind of moving around this map, seeing what he's able to kind of get for himself, because he's not only able to get a couple of camps on bot side, but he's going to be able to kind of reset and set himself up for success with a flash available on this Nautilus. Makes him a very, very potent threat, even in the early game.
Ooh, I love what Shadow's doing right here, crossing the river, even with a full set of camps up. Thanks to him moving into the topside jungle, it will mean that he can track, hey, Nautilus is probably still bottom side here. We need to be careful for them to make that play. But with his pathing, I mean, he's going to be able to clear this entire quadrant and either have the option to go mid or maybe even just go straight up bot lane, especially with the dragon spawning. We talked about, hey, this bottom lane should have priority early on. They should be trying to poke out Hope and Iwandi so that they can set up for the dragon.
The dragon setups have been something that can feel very powerful in the moment, but we have definitely seen a fair few unfortunate dragon souls kind of end up in the wrong hands, or in the wrong kind of setup, I suppose. Chemdrake obviously being one of them, but first dragon is going to be that mountain dragon, so hopefully we'll get ourselves a decent soul. I'm a personal fan of the Hex soul. I think it adds an amazing amount of stuff to the map. Not only that, but also gives you a little bit of extra damage and attack speed, which I love.
Okay, real question. So what dragon do you... I guess I should ask, what is your favorite dragon? What is your least favorite dragon? It doesn't have to be backed by stats. I know a lot of people are going to complain about like Cloud Drake and whatever, or Chemtech, but is there a personal favorite and maybe one you're not a big fan of?
I love Hex Dragon because I love the stats it gives, genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just a solo dragon, I love it. The one I actually hate, because I play jungle a little bit, is I absolutely hate Cloud Dragon. It's the hardest one to take. It's single target DPS. It's quite quick, and it's very difficult to take solo as a dragon. So much prefer, as a jungler even, but much prefer those ones there. But
okay.
Thankfully, I don't have to do that. I am not a pro player. I just have to talk about their stories. I'm just a narrator in their lives. I am the NPC here in the main characters' lives. I see now. It looks like NIP, with the pressure they have from the mid lane, as Shanks did go for a bit of a reset, they're going to be able to secure that dragon for themselves. No questions asked. Invincible goes into Meganar, gets a nice little trade into Cube, and everybody's just happy to let this game continue as it is currently continuing. Shadow, Heng was thinking about it, maybe. Okay, close but no cigar.
Wow, not able to find that. Shadow getting cheeky with it. That's one of the great things about this Poppy. She's one of the more unique junglers when it comes to how she's able to use Hex Flash. Typically a rune that is used for supports, engage supports. Trying to find this pick on Iwandi. Tons of damage being put down. And they need to be careful because both junglers are on this side of the map. And Shanks already got this wave to crash in mid lane. They can immediately move down if they want to. Spalling's got to be careful trying to find something. Shadow's even coming down here. Needs to be able to avoid some vision.
It's not a great trade. Yeah, I was going to say, they're going to have to
figure
out something else. A cleanse was used there by Hope, so as he recognized that Shadow was moving around here with a ward to spot out the Ninjas and Pyjamas jungler, but now Hope and Iwandi, they just have to back away completely. It has to kind of go to that point now where they're saying, look, yep, we would love to be able to take more trades in this bot side, but we know that Shadow is lurking in the shadows himself.
Oh, and look at what Angel is doing currently with Nautilus sitting up here. This game is completely around the bottom lanes here between these two. Hung playing a little bit more defensive for his bottom lane, while Shadow trying to get this Lucian and Nami ahead. But the entire time, we still have not seen the Twisted Fate ultimate quite yet. Hasn't really found an angle to try to go for these kills. I think when we do see it, it is probably going to be around some of these objectives. We do have the Rift Herald spawning in the next 10 seconds. You already see, they're not even playing towards this. Iwandi's actually the one that's closest to mid lane. And we'll see if WE are going to be prioritizing this objective, because this will be a little bit of alone time for Hope and Photic as they maybe try to find a 2v1 kill.
That's the thing, is generally we see a Photic trying to look to go towards that bot side. He's definitely a lot more present with his bot laner in that bot lane, and it does feel like for WE, they're very happy to let this one go, but now you've left everyone. They're making the play happen. No cleanse, but Angel went a little bit too close to the turret, so Flash gets burnt by Hope, but now basically means a free Rift Herald. I will say it will take an age to kill this one off, and Shadow's found himself here. There's going to be this, ooh, not a great ultimate from Shadow. That means he's going to fully disengage, and that should just be WE trading a summoner for Flash on their bot laner and a Rift Herald in exchange for a little bit of presence in this bot lane.
So Hope, recognizing that there's nothing really for him to do in the bottom lane, he's just kind of moving around here. He's going to come back and try to collect the next wave that is coming, but Shadow's already on his way, burning the cleanse earlier on, and now the Flash away. I was going to say that the play from Angel, I think he did go a bit early. His bottom lane was not in a position to be able to follow up, but hey, if we're just taking away the Flash and we're trying to get to an early advantage, then that makes good on that play. It makes that the Destiny is going to be pretty strong, and it is going to come up before this Flash is available for Hope. That is something they can do 3 plates already pre-10 minutes.
Yeah, feels so good here for the bot lane of Photic and Joe, but Heng is over to the spot side now as he's looking to try and maybe make a move, and they haven't spotted him out. Now they know they're there, but Shadow is kind of moving himself back around. Hope, remember, no summoners on him as he's going to try and get soloed out in a 1v2, but he's moving around. He's got fancy feet, and he is totally fine to take this fight. Ooh, that Super Mega Death Rocket did a lot of splash damage. And that's going to force everybody just to back away, and now they can trade back some of that presence and pressure by giving Hope some of these plates for himself. What
a great play, not only from Hung there, but also Iwandi able to stop a lot of that play from happening. The Superfire Mega Kick, I don't know what this ability is called. I'm going to be 100% honest. It has way too many words. I barely got to learn Jinx, and that took a couple years, but that right there stopped Photic from being able to jump forward. They weren't able to do a lot of damage, especially with the Nautilus ultimate on this Lucian. So now evening out the plates here, being able to get at least 2 for your bottom lane will assuage some of the worries that we had early on, as Hope, he's staring down the barrel of triple longsword BF, and he's like, well, I got a recurve bow, and I got 1 longsword. Am I able to do much?
I mean, it's right. It's exactly as you say. The Milio just kind of creates such an immense amount of kind of disengaged pressure. The Ultra Mega Fire Kick, which is the knockback there, is such a great tool at stopping someone like a Lucian from kind of engaging, because the Lucian wants to go forward with the Relentless Pursuit. He wants to move in with that dash and try and catch you off guard, but the knockback, as well as the little bit of a kind of, the stun that comes off it, means you can't even auto while it's happening. So it is a hugely powerful thing. And then, of course, the Cozy Campfire gets you some healing back. You even have the Breath of Life, the ultimate coming out here for Iwandi. It's just so difficult to actually kill off Hope when he has basically 2 cleanses, and if they go late enough into the game, he could get a third with a QSS if he really wanted to.
Yeah, it'll be very tough. Also, small thing here with this Nautilus picking up the redemption, increasing healing done, so even harder.
Ooh, Shadow.
Oh, Shadow. There's no one here. Angel does have the ultimate here, but he's going to be in such a dangerous spot.
Yeah, they're going to look for it. There's the cleanse to come out, but do they really want this fight? Hope's having this a little bit of a 1v1. There's going to be the ultimate thrown out here by Shadow, but immediately Iwandi kind of makes his presence known, drops down the Breath of Light, and Shadow will be taken for first blood. WE, they've been taking all of this pressure, and now they're looking to try and make it work once more. No fish for the hook of Hang, but still a hell of a lot of damage. Shanks is taking a fair beating from Photic, and this is just really good play coming out here from WE. They know that they can deal with all this pressure, because there's just no way that the Shadow on his own can kill off the Jinx.
If they had found 1 more kill in the bottom lane, that was the potential for WE to start up this dragon. As we get into the replay here, I mean, there was no vision. Shadow just a little too far up here, gets the cleanse out again, but it is Iwandi and Hung who keep the backline here. Photic can't get over the wall, neither can Jewel. It's just a free kill. And when we were talking about Hope getting behind early, this bottom lane for NIP doing such a fantastic job, all goes to waste when we have so much gold getting back into this Jinx.
That's the big thing. The Jinx kind of picking up those little bit of scraps. They're still 30 CS down, and that's going to be a second dragon over to NIP. They have themselves two of the nicest early game ones, but Chemsoul now to hop onto the Rift, which means we get ourselves some nice plants. But unfortunately for the side of NIP, not the greatest of souls to be going into the later game of that stacking.
Ooh, we've seen very, very creative uses of the Blast Clone plant, but not anything super impressive as Photic by himself is going to be able to pick this up. Really good poke. Nautilus now even walking down here. I mean, Angel has Ignite and the Destiny available to him, so very easily could just actually end up in this bottom wave. He's going to catch this wave first. It means Shanks will hit level 11, and the Spear Rush is coming on through. All of this vision is in favor of Team WE. They're going to try and force for this. They want to try and force for the turret at the very least. Maybe even try to pick up some summoner spells.
Well, Angel's looking to make the play on the top side. There's a Destiny Gate going in on top of Cube. It will soak it up, but we'll get hit by the wild cards on the back end of it. That means that there is no ultimate available to try and come down and defend this tower. That means that WE can continually put in the pressure. They won't get another plate, but they will surely get this one in. So, yes, they lose their top laner, but with all the pressure going on the bot side, they're still kind of okay with this trade.
A first turret here for WE is a massive win and an indictment against NIP. They don't obviously fall off in the later game, but they really needed to be ahead of the gold lead at 15 minutes now. So they're going to trade 1-for-1 in terms of the turrets. Some of that gold is going to be in Invincible's back pocket. I'm sure that Photic still has a little bit of a lead, but more and more of that is being eaten away at because of how WE are able to play around Hope and Iwandi. And I've got to say now, they're facing down two dragons. NIP need to be on top of these neutral objectives. Rift Herald now spawning. They need to be able to contest for this if they want to have a chance at being able to stay relevant in the game.
And their first item's completed. There's the Ardent Sensor coming out here from Iwandi. We have been wondering whether or not he would still rush that here as the Milio. We have seen kind of a couple of people trading that one back. Of course, it is still a flat 20% attack speed buff, but no longer the greatest of items to be rushing into the game with. As we do see Shadow now going to run into Shanks and get a fair bit of damage onto him, but a W should mean that Shanks is in a pretty decent spot here. There's going to be a hook to miss just barely. Now Iwandi and Hope thinking about maybe going for something here. See Photic trying to be aggressive with that relentless pursuit, and everyone's just kind of hovering around this top side. Again, it's only 1,000 gold lead here for NIP, not exactly exceptional, and first items are completed across the board.
It seems like they're trying to bait this. They want to have control of the top side. Hope by using this, using all of the rockets, he's just going to be able to clear out the mini wave a lot faster than Photic will. Both top laners do have their teleports, but Invincible, oh my god.
Yeah, just about get himself caught there. So we're going to see Shadow flash away. Good Everfrost in, but in the bot side, Cube and Invincible going all out. It's going to be a little bit of a 1v1. Does Invincible want to go back into it? Flash away by the Cassante. Keeps him going there. Angel gets caught out by a charm. That's going to force the tidal wave out. Actually probably helps the Nautilus because he did hit the side of the wall there with his hook. And the Rift Herald shall reset once more. Nobody goes down. Everyone's just posturing.
Wait, they're going to keep going for this. Oh, you already see Angel's running down bot.
I was going to say, WE got to try and make sure they get this as quick as they possibly can. Invincible almost going Mega right now, and you can see that Cube is respecting it, but they're back on the Rift Herald.
Oh, man. That was almost a solo kill for Cube, as I was going to say, Invincible couldn't TP to this play and try to be the Mega Gnar. They're going right in.
Oh, they focus onto the Milio because they know they can take him, but the Jinx is huge! And that's a trade back, a support for an AD carry. That is absolutely worth for WE. They even got the TP in from Cube for safekeeping. It does give away their bot lane turret, but eventually they will trade it back for this objective they started oh so long ago.
This Rift Herald has been up for 3 minutes and has known nothing but war since it spawned in. WE are getting such big advantages thanks to this bottom lane, thanks to Hope on this Jinx. He is 100% of the kill participation right now alongside Iwandi. And in this replay, we can kind of see how hectic some of this fight was. It's actually the start of the pick onto this Milio. But now they've used all of their tools, and Photic was already very low. This minion wave in favor of WE. They're lucky that they didn't get 2 kills there.
And again, you're looking at this now. Yes, it's a CS lead here for Photic, but That kill is very, very significant. And I will say, yes, it's 2,000 gold lead. Next dragon spawning in 15 seconds, but that's a twisted fate. You got to remember, he's got that loaded dice. He's picking up extra money every single time he picks up a CS, so it's always going to be naturally more skewed away from his Photic and the rest of NIP. Looking to try and see the kill off this Nautilus. They are burning him down, but they will not kill him. And with the extra honey fruit, he's actually not that bad off.
There was so much used there. Rift Herald is going to give him an express back. That is going to now be the third dragon being opened up for NIP. That was exactly what they wanted. They would have loved to kill at the same time, but they'll take what they can get in this moment. Photic without wards, knowing that the bot lane is coming through, they're actually just going to peel off entirely. And Hung could get there very, very quickly thanks to the Nautilus and his Q. So a dragon now given over to WE, a massive win for them.
A huge, huge win. And yes, look, the Chemtech isn't exactly the most, expansive soul in the game, but I will tell you, that extra tenacity, when that starts to stack up, it can mean a huge amount. As here we go, Photic already taking so much damage. One rocket! Ooh, whizzes past his ear. And that is so close, and we're starting to see the WE that we were talking about, the late game team that's very happy to let their team scale. They drop down Shirley to try and break open this tier 1 in the mid lane, but it forces out Angel's TP.
We thought that coming in, Team WE might skip a beat coming in, as they had an entire week off. I'll hold that. Here comes a play.
Gonna go for a play, but the cozy campfire means that WE keep themselves nice and topped up. Angel, fairly tanky at this stage of the game, going with the Everfrost, but no one really going to be able to kind of burn anyone else down for the moment. This is the thing. NIP do not have a lot of great burst. They've got some decent, consistent damage with the Gnar in the mini form and, of course, Photic, but if Photic's not in the play, their damage just doesn't really do a lot.
They have so much crowd control, but not enough to actually knock down the pins here. On a ward, Shadow's going to be going over. Okay, decides against it. They are forcing so hard for this mid-tier 1. Trying to destabilize the map, trying to buy themselves a little bit of geography. By getting rid of that turret, it does open themselves up to being able to move into the enemy jungle and specifically continue to play towards the side lane here. I wonder if Invincible's actually going to be finishing off the... actually just going for the Black Cleaver here, making sure that he can try to punch through some of the tanks on the opposite side in that 1v1.
Makes a lot of sense. You want to burn down some of these resistances with that armor shred onto top of Cassante and a Nautilus. Just exceptionally powerful and tanky characters in their own right. And we come back into the game. 2,500 gold lead for NIP. They are still growing it, but like we've seen the last few times, this Jinx is becoming powerful. These dragons just not really that valuable as they've been given, kind of delayed by this WE's third dragon take. So little by little, bit by bit, NIP are definitely in the ascendancy by taking the towers and such, but they aren't exactly looking super comfortable. WE seem to be growing into their own as they continue to knock on this mid lane turret.
Yeah, remember, Hope was down 30 CS here at the beginning of this game. And now, even with Photic getting 2 kills of his own, he is more than happy with where this is going. Has a small level lead or level disadvantage to Photic, but the ultimates just don't matter at this point for these 280 carries. They're playing more for how much can I actually get, how much kill threat can I put onto the enemy team. Cube tries to go for the solo.
He is looking for it. It's close. The flash, a knockback, and the solo bolo goes to Cube. The Cassante 100% presence is very much felt by NIP's top laner.
Wow, Cube finding that solo kill is massive for them. It means that Invincible will not be able to continue pushing onto the side lane. And I wonder if this is going to be kind of that LPL/NIP special. We need to start the Baron as soon as possible because we feel this game is getting out of hand for ourselves.
That's the big thing. I love that you bring that up because this side lane kind of shows you where you're at. You go with the Black Cleaver, yes. Yeah, it just feels like he's not able to kind of do the damage. And again, it's the difference between a Black Cleaver and a Hullbreaker. Hullbreaker, great for side lane. Black Cleaver, not so great for the side lane itself. Better for team fights.
You also use the E there, which good on Cube to say, oh, you just used one of the most important cooldowns on your kit. Awesome. I'm going to try and find that solo kill. Trying to keep Invincible honest here will mean that they're able to have first priority moving over. Invincible, if they start up this Baron, will have to teleport for this, but they're just going to try and get more and more gold, take away all of the map here for NIP, as it's another turret, more gold coming in for the team that we prefer in terms of the scaling.
And that's the thing. I want to ask you the question now. What do you want to see NIP do? Because we've seen them kind of like, you know, try and accelerate this early game. Hasn't really happened for them now. Still 1,000 gold up, but that is still very deceiving with a twist of fate. Where do they find their advantages? Where do you want to start to see them look to try and make things work for them?
Well, I do kind of want to see what Jewel and Shadow can do, getting more vision, because it will allow for Shadow to have those creative angles, try to find those flanks. And honestly, while Angel has all of the kills here, he hasn't had much of an influence. All he's really doing is farming up, not really moving into the side. Even if it's just to try to hover and protect Invincible on the side lane, you are applying pressure. But for every kind of passing minute that we don't see a useful or a very aggressive Destiny, it just means that WE are not getting pressured. They're not feeling the effects of having to play suddenly a 1v1 into a 2v1.
Wait to see 12 seconds till the dragon spawns. Again, big teamfight presence available for Team WE. They're on 2 items for pretty much all their carries. There's a good hook onto Shadow, who does have flash, would really not want to use it. But with that oncoming Nautilus ultimate, he had to respect the CC, so uses that to get himself back to safety. Does still have the Hex Flash to get over the wall, but again, we're seeing that in the 5v5s, it's WE feeling a bit more confident. There was no hook there. Oh, that's a huge ultimate, and that means Shanks has to flash. He has to ult, he has to try and get away, and he will just about. Oh, that was very close. He will have time to go back and get himself teleported in, but he's going to need his team to disengage and reset. Oh, there's going to be Shanks.
No!
Oh, the Everfrost Angel underneath the tower will not go down. That dragon going down very, very low. It's not quite taken yet. There's going to be Smite confirmed. Soul point now for Shadow. Here we go. The reset on the fight going to be coming in. This Jinx is doing so much and completely untouched. They're like fish in a barrel, and she's got a shotgun. Invincible now caught between himself and the rock. Gets himself over the wall, but Hope wants more. Hit by a bit of water, a little bit of rock, and he'll have to back himself away. NIP, they get the dragon, but they lose a little bit of that fight afterwards.
Oh man, getting that kill for Angel, again, it's good that you got it, but that meant that your team no longer has the ability to gold card this Jinx. Hope still has Flash and Cleanse. That is the biggest win here for WE. As yeah, they lost the dragon, they're gonna get kills. They're gonna take the biggest objective on the map here, the Baron at 25 minutes.
Shanks has a TP and he's waiting. Oh, he's waiting to use it, but they did pot spot out that ward. He TP's down behind the pit for the moment. They don't know exactly where he is. Here we go. Baron going to be flipped to 2,000 HP going down. 1,400, 1,000, and finally gets secured there. Shadow didn't have smite in time. With a Mega Gnar from Invincible is just that. Hope finally gets himself over the wall. Cube is still huge. They finally take down 1-for-1 as the Gnar and the Nautilus are traded back. How do they get out of that fight right there? I do not know. But WE, they trade 1-for-1. They get the Baron.
Oh my god. Photic in that fight was trying to put down damage, but maybe a little unsure of some of the cooldowns, maybe feeling a bit flighty about getting hit with some damage. He's not dealing as much as this Jinx, who is just planting her feet. And we take a look at this replay. This should have been them immediately starting up this dragon. As soon as Shanks uses all of these abilities, you have the flash coming out from Photic, they need to be on this dragon ASAP. But you could have just drawn out the teleport as well. This is Angel going in. There's no gold card now. There's no threat onto this Jinx. At least we're not going to be able to feign that pressure. And now it's an even 4v4 for WE.
That's the big thing. You had an advantage. The Ahri had to go back, and then just blood in the eyes, seeing red. Just meant that they just had not got the opportunity to kind of go for it. And this is where the plants come in huge as well, because getting the extra healing from the honey fruit is just what's kind of keeping WE alive. You can see Cube just on the bottom side there gets that entire fruit for himself, basically full HP for that Baron fight.
Oh, a little bit of a heartbreaker here as NIP. They had some good early game plans, but Photic and Jewel sitting at 1, 2, and 4 combined early game. That's not what you want to see when you have a Lucian Nami. They have had very little impact, very little to be able to dictate the pace of the game to WE's bot lane. And now staring down these Baron waves, these turrets with the amount of range that Jinx has, there's just not enough damage currently.
Shadow got charmed there. Decent respected. That tower, it will fall down. And now Shanks goes forward with the Zhonya. He's able to keep him there. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Hong just keeps himself in the fight, and that's going to be Reset City here coming in for the Jinx. Doesn't have a minion wave just yet, so can't push it into the tower. But WE, the cogs are turning. They're looking like they've hit their late game crest, and they're happy with the way this game is currently at.
Hope is 50% of his team's damage. Why? This is one of the cool parts of playing an AD carry meta. You get to see how much these marksmen can kind of push the boundaries, how much reliance they have from their team to really put out that DPS. And I want to say congratulations to Hung for making one of the second coolest plays after KDF, making a very similar one to try to avoid the keeper's verdict, the hook, being able to bring him back before getting knocked away. Cool stuff, very fun, always awesome to see. We have the bit of a cinematic highlight when we do like that highlight reel at the end of the day. But we take a look at this replay. We get to see actually all of this, getting excited, just not enough for this team. Like NIP, they're facing a front to back right now. This is not what we want to see from them.
I love this from Hung, just catches him out. And again, it's the power of the Nautilus. Having that jungle flex here for WE meant that this Poppy that we love seeing, it was a great pickup here for NIP, just isn't going to be enough to disengage.
For WE, they're looking at it. We talked about them coming in, taking a break from Week 3, going to play the Road to Asia games. It feels like they haven't missed a beat. And while they're scheduled, they are playing against OMG, they're playing against Thundertalk. We thought that this should be a layup for them, should be an expected where they come in against an NIP who is very hot right now after winning yesterday, should be looking to at least play pretty competitive. Now here in this game, it feels anything but 14WE as they're just dominating.
My question is to you, Ulk, I don't know if you have an answer, but I'll throw it out there anyway. How the hell do you get in range of this Jinx with the rapid fire cannon, the Milio, the rockets, even if Angel with the rapid fire cannon kind of puts himself in a decent spot, it's just going to be so difficult for him to actually get his damage down or even have anyone follow up onto this AD carry.
Right now, it needs to be the Zerg Rush. We need to see them all hands on deck running straight at Hope. Throw everything at the wall and pray that something works. It needs to be Shadow being able to flash in, maybe another massive Keeper's Verdict to knock away the front line. But it's a Dragon going over to the side of Team WE, and they're not able to actually apply pressure on the side lane of NIP. NIP, oh my god, invincible. That hop, barely able to get him over the finish line, but they're going to look to take more and more of these outer turrets as they're rotating this down bottom side. Angel is splitting on the opposite side. Shanks has TP to answer as well if they need him.
They see Shadow, so they know that he's not going to be sneaky onto this one here. Cube trying to get the knockback, will get it. He's still a mini-Gnar, he's a small boy. Will take a hell of a lot of damage if you are not careful there. NIP do trade a 1-for-1 in terms of the turrets. Angel trying to see if he can maybe get in position to catch somebody out, but just going to soak up this mid wave, have himself a grand L time there. The game, for the first time, is in WE's favor for the gold as well. They've also got 2 Chem Dragons, and like I said earlier, though that tenacity is so valuable when you have a Jinx who the only way you can kill her is by CCing her. If she comes out with 4 dragons and a boat ton of tenacity, that just doesn't have the value anymore.
It's tenacity and it's heal and shield power. So we're just completely getting maxed out value for Iwani and Hung on this Nautilus and Milio. The redemption as well, we talked about it earlier, increasing the amount of healing power you get from allies. So it just feels like a complete perfect storm here for Team W in terms of some of the variables that happened in early game that, yes, was pretty detrimental, but not impactful enough for NIP to have massive control. They're still looking to try to push on the side lane. Angel has been that side lane threat instead of the Gnar. But, it happens again! No!
Oh, it feels so bad, especially when you're trying to maintain vision control here on this top side. And WE now looking to see if they can catch out. Whoa! He has to flash away, but he's getting hit down and taken out. WE are just too damn strong, and 2 people on the spot side, sure, you're able to get Shanks up the tower, but that could well mean the Baron.
They're going to be able to start this up, and importantly enough, if Cube and Shanks want, they can try to cancel these backs right now. There's no Mega Gnar available for Invincible coming up. Is he actually going to hit the 1v2 between them? All right, let's see these solo laners.
This is going to be the solo laners coming out. Invincible getting all out on top of his Cube. Tries to jump onto him. Does have the gargoyles. And in a 1v4 gets himself a kill. Massive for this Cassante. My God, is he busted. But it's fantastic for WE because not only did they get a straight of 1-for-1, they also get the Baron.
Awesome, guys. You got the bottom tier 2. I'm going to press tab, and if I see a Baron on the enemy team, I'm going to be pretty sad as the Ninjas in Pyjamas. Team WE just getting more and more gold, getting the 4th item here for Hope. Still has the flash, still has the cleanse, now getting a stopwatch as well. how much of an HP bar do you have to be able to burn off this Jinx before you finally take her down? We're going to take a replay of what happened here. This pick onto Jewel, just unable to get it. As soon as that first auto attack lands, as soon as that zap gets through, that's it. That's the entire kill. And that opens them up to grab this Baron. And we're going to see how they were able to close this game out. NIP not able to apply any pressure onto the side lane at this moment. Oh, the blast cone!
Try and find it. The blast cone is good. They're going to burn down Iwandi, but not quite kill him off. Again, you just don't have the damage. Shanks TP's in just to bait them all. And now, without your jungler, without your engage, how do you survive this? That is the question. Angel finally ducks and dives his way out of that fight, but it's his dodgeball. And if you can't dodge everything, you are out. Hook does go wide there. Photo does not get hit, but I mean, the big thing is they almost killed Iwandi, but Iwandi wasn't the problem. A flash by Hope because he knows that nobody can touch him.
He is so fearless in this moment. He knows nothing can kill him, like you were just saying. A minion wave here to try to end this game. NIP.
Damage. I don't know if they can hold. They're going to get all out and deleted. Cube will get the knockback, and WE, it was slow, it was steady. They dealt with the oncoming pressure of NIP in this early stages, and it's WE who come out on top and still remain undefeated in the LPL. They still have another game to go, but a 1-0 start is a good way to go.
7-0 is name of the game here for Team WE. Feels like they haven't skipped a beat. Says, hey, Road to Asian Games, we went undefeated. So if you really count their entire season, they're pretty close to like 10-0 at this point, which is pretty impressive.
6-0 in Road to Asian
6-0. Oh,
yeah,
God.
6-0, and then they're now 7-0. So they're technically haven't lost a game in 13 stage games. Pretty impressive.
Wow. Insane. Impressive stuff there. It was on the onus that we had